I wasted a lot of my own time and made a lot of mistakes during my first playthrough of Jedi Survivor. So I'm going to share some of those mistakes I made with you so you can avoid them, as well as break down some more tips and tricks that will hopefully make this game more enjoyable for you. Of course, no story spoilers here in this video, thanks to EA for the review code. And let's start with a full clarification on the world restrictions in this game, because I spent such a long time early to mid game trying to unlock or break through barriers which was impossible to do unless I progressed the story and unlocked the correct ability upgrades to do so. But what are those correct abilities? Well, the first one to note are the green shields, which you'll only be able to pass through after completing the quest with Merrin on a planet I won't name, so you can discover it for yourself. But once you do complete this quest, you'll pick up the ability to dash through these force fields, meaning a lot of exploration will now be available to you. The next unlock, which I wasted too much time trying to reach, was the balloons dotted around each planet. So don't waste your time engaging with them until you unlock the upgrade for the Ascension cable around 15 hours or so into the storyline. And the same thing can be said for these blue electric canisters. You actually see them early on in the game, but you just can't interact with them until you unlock the BD1 Electro Dart around 15 to 20 hours into the narrative. So again, bypass them until you get the upgrade. You'll also come across purple shields, which can only be broken open by using another upgrade for BD1 called the Kobo Grinder that you pick up around 10 or so hours into the storyline on Kobo. And finally, the lift and slam abilities. This is another story unlock that will allow you to bypass turrets in the ceilings and lift objects off passageways so you can explore fully. Now, if you do have all of the traversal abilities unlocked here that we just went through, or perhaps you want to grind out everything on the map for that 100%, then I would highly recommend that you complete the 7 Jedi chambers on Kobo, because upon completion, the game will show all force essences, all skill points, all perk locations, and upgrades for your perk slot capacity, which will become available on your map, meaning there's no need for any online guides. That said, you will need to find the Jedi meditation chambers on Kobo first, so I'd recommend starting the rumor quest with Toa in this location on your map, and once she's recruited back to the saloon, you can speak to her every time you return, and when you do so, she will place the location of each Jedi chamber on your map until you complete all 7. Now, after you've done this, and starting from Rambler's Reach, follow this route I'm running now, making sure you head down that elevator where you'll come across 7 green screens, and this is where you'll get BD1 to slice the computer, and you'll have all of these collectibles appear on your map. Now, it doesn't stop there, because the game also allows you to show all the available chests and music tracks for your robot DJ back in the cantina that will then be visible on your map, ready for a quick collection. This unlock occurs on Kobo, but you will need the upgraded Ascension cable, or alternatively the air dash move to get it. Now, once you do have them unlocked, I would recommend you fast travel to the Mountain Ascent meditation point here on your map, specifically in the Prospector's Folly region, and follow this route I'm taking you through now through the Foothills Falls area. You'll then come across a flying relter, which you'll need to take across to this platform, and then use the force pull on the metal sheets and trapdoor found on the left hand side of this hut. Now drop down into this area and follow this route I'm taking now, which is relatively linear, but it can become quite confusing due to the platforming nature of this dungeon specifically. So when you do move through it, just stick to this guide, because there will be times in this underground labyrinth where you will need to pull these acid balls towards you so you can then throw them at purple rock doors to then blast through them. But once you have smashed through each wall, you'll know you're on the right path, as you'll come across several battles with 3 lightsaber wielding Bedlam Raiders, and after dispatching them, you will then need to approach this computer terminal that you can slice with BD1, and then if you pass through that door and jump up this wall, you'll then be able to upgrade your map to show all the chests, Stim canisters, and BD1 slices on all planets, which is a fantastic unlock for a relatively small amount of time spent to get it. And the same can be said for all the force echoes and scans in this game. You can also unlock them so they appear on all planet maps, and thankfully it's a bit easier to do this one than the chest unlock we just ran through. Now, as a requirement, you'll need to play through the storyline until chapter 4 when you reach the planet of Nova Garon, and I'd recommend you start from the Hangar Bay meditation point and follow this route I'm running now, making sure to traverse your way up to the top of this middle platform, and and then you'll want to continue running this corridor route until we come to the central command area. This is where you'll need to get BD1 to slice the computer, and you'll have all force echoes and scans available on your map. Now, if you've learned something new so far, please do leave a very swift like down below, as it really helps me out on YouTube. So thanks very much for your support, and do subscribe if you're new here. I've got lots more Jedi Survivor videos just like this coming to you as quickly as I can make them. Now, you can also unlock all the Priorite shards, data discs, and Jedi scrolls to easily hoover up on your map. But I do want to pop a quick spoiler warning here, as you can only unlock this upgrade on a planet which has some super cool Jedi lore and history. So if you haven't finished the storyline yet, do skip on to the next tip I have for you in the timestamps down below. But if you want to know how to get this map upgrade, you'll first need to complete 3 environmental puzzles on the planet. The first one being the Path of Restoration, which is located near the Anchorite base meditation point, and you'll want to head to this desert ridge location until you come across this wall. Now, I am going to speed up this walkthrough here because it's not too challenging to figure out, but as you can see, it does require that you force pull and push the orbs in the wall until they're in the correct locations, and you'll know you've made the correct dance steps as the orb will travel up to the top of the mountainous platform, and upon reaching that platform, you can then interact with the orb once more to collect a skill point. Now, for the Path of Conviction, you'll want to head to the arid flats at this location on your map, where you'll need to force dash around these platforms and move the orbs back and forth quickly to open up ledges in the walls. Now, it's important to be quick with these air dashes, by the way, as the wall ledges will head back into the wall if you're too slow. But if you follow this route I'm taking now, you won't have too many issues, and you'll find another skill point at the top of this plateau. Now, as for our final puzzle, called the Path of Persistence, you'll want to head to this location in the arid flats and take the zip line across to this opposing platform. Now, speedrun yourself through this route I'm taking here until you reach another wall orb that opens up a hidden passageway, and continue to follow this run until you can push another orb to the top of the mountain and then head back around to this first orb to subsequently open up another passageway. Follow this around until you reach the top of the mountain. Now, after all of these puzzles are complete, head to the arid flats meditation point here and then run to the Wayfinder's tomb location on Jedha. You'll then want to follow this route I'm taking again, and once you get to the top of this tomb platform, you'll then want to take this stone elevator down below the surface to then unlock every single collectible on your map, making that 100% completion or fast XP gain even faster. Now, there's a pretty ridiculous XP farm here in the game where you can easily earn a skill point every 3 minutes without doing much at all, which may come in handy if you need that extra point for an ability upgrade, skill reset, or that 100% completion. Now, thanks to Sparkle in our Discord for the heads up about this XP farm. Invite link down below, by the way, but you'll want to travel to the Lucra Hulk core meditation point and equip your blaster stance. Now, when you do spawn here, all you're going to do is hold down your charge shot button and fire it at the Droideka at the end of the platform. You do this twice and it will be dead with no need to lock on. And if you also equip the Wisdom XP perk, which you can purchase from Z in the Cantina, and equip the Gambler's perk by defeating the Sataban Alpha at this location on your map, you will earn XP so fast by just respawning and firing shots. So a great farm to keep in mind here. Now, one of the mechanics that I admit I did not use at all during my playthrough, but definitely should have, is the BD1 hacking and slicing upgrades that you can purchase from Cage, the bounty hunter in the saloon, or just collect when you're out and exploring. This will allow you to take control of droids during combat, including some of the more substantial and difficult enemies like the Droidekas and the DT Sentry security droids, but you will have to collect the correct blueprint for them specifically, and it is worth doing as they are very effective in combat. Now, the Droideka upgrade can be found on the Shattered Moon planet at this specific point in the Republic Research Laboratory location, and the DT Sentry droid schematic can be sliced on Coruscant, specifically in Hangar 2046C, as you can see here. Just defeat the droid itself and pick up the slice upgrade behind the door he was guarding. So if you are in the area of any of these locations, it is worth spending 2 minutes to pick them up, as they're great fun to use in combat, especially the Droideka override. Now, another couple tips here that I wish I had utilized earlier is using the BD noculars to scan enemies rather than just killing them and then scanning their bodies or droid parts. And there's a few benefits to doing this, especially on the harder difficulties. Firstly, this allows you to preview their weaknesses in combat, so you can exploit that weakness with a specific style of gameplay. So, for example, with the Biomore enemy, it says that we should dodge its attacks from the front to be able to successfully navigate around it to do more damage to its rear. Secondly, this pre-combat scan adds them to your database and contributes to the Intergalactic Geographic Game Trophy, and by doing this, it also adds them automatically into the Halo Tactics minigame back in the saloon, which you can unlock by helping out Beamer and Tully in the Untamed Downs on Kobo at this location specifically. Now, once they've returned to the cantina, they host this game which you can partake in, and if you complete, you'll pick up the Gambler Trophy, a skill point, and the very cool looking pilot jacket and mustache for Cal, which is very spicy indeed. Now, a quick tip here, if you want to burn through this game, always field the Droidekas when you can. They are outrageously overpowered and just burn through all opponents, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets nerfed in a future patch. Now let's move on and talk about a couple combat tips for you here, which I wish I had known sooner. The first one being, when you invariably die in a boss fight, you'll notice a golden glow on the floor, which is the location where you died in the previous fight. Now, instead of running over to it and collecting up the XP you just lost, I would recommend you leave that collection until the very last second to then pick up when you're going round 2 with that boss. It will subsequently replenish your health bar instantly, saving you valuable stim canisters in the process. Another cool tip here is that you can perform a jump kick in combat, which deals a solid amount of damage and knocks the enemies to the ground quite quickly. You just need to be sprinting in the crossguard stance to activate it by just pressing the attack button when you're in full sprint mode to get it to work. You'll also pick up the achievement Roadhouse when doing this move whilst wearing a mullet specifically, which is very good from the devs there. Now, when you come up against the Rancor boss fight, you can actually force push the bones in its cave into its mouth, and I think that's perhaps a nice nod to what Luke Skywalker did in the Return of the Jedi film, and this ends up giving you a decent amount of time to do a lot of damage to the Rancor, which is a challenging boss fight in itself, and I have no doubt there's other cool mechanics like this for other boss fights in the game, so if you have come across one, make sure you share it with everyone down below in the comments. Now, when you do decide to run a New Game Plus game, make sure you equip the new perks that will become available to you. That being the Warrior perk that replaces standard enemies with new and more difficult combat encounters to mix it up a bit, as well as the Purity perk that increases weapon damage massively for both you and your enemies. There's also this other perk that I would recommend equipping, which is called the Trendsetter, that randomizes Cal's look every time you die, which I actually really liked because it kept my second playthrough kind of feeling like a whole new game, really. Well, you know what I mean anyway. It felt new, and I really quite liked that. Also, make sure you hit the workbench straight away so you can change your lightsaber color from red to party if that's what you're after. I'd also recommend you click the video on your screen right now for more cool tips and tricks so you can get the most out of this game. So hopefully see you there in a second. But if you're still here, my huge thank you to Nika, who has been smashing this game apart with me to get the absolute best info for you. Coffee is on her, and I'll see you in that next video.